guys, Michael Edward here, True Trading Group. Absolute monster day today. We really caught follow through in every single stock that we traded today. CLSN, ANTH, MNKD, and then MTBC into the close. Really just monster days, monster day today, and monster follow through on all of these stocks. And these are the days that you really get paid and you can really make your entire month, because when you get those follow-through moves. As you can see today, I got my Yankee hat on and I have not shaved because it is October now and it's playoff baseball and I'm a baseball fan, so I'm superstitious. I haven't shaved, so don't mind me. But let's cut right to it because I have a lot of trades that I want to go over with you guys, and a lot of charts that we can focus on. And I'm going to start with this CLSN because it was ridiculous. I left so much money on the table with this trade, but nonetheless, I did catch a trade in the morning that I want to just zoom in and focus on a little bit, and I'll pan the chart over so it's more easy to see. 3-minute chart here on CLSN. You can see how the stock gapped up on news, rallies up high. You guys know I never trade off the open. I always wait for stocks to settle in and give me a tradable pattern. I feel like if you trade off the open, you're more gambling and guessing because there's just not enough data to tell you if a stock is strong or weak or if the move is going to continue or not. So once we saw the stock put that initial morning high in right here, and pull in and start to consolidate and hold above 235. This is when we started talking about CLSN. I was holding above this 235 level, and then we drew a bit of a flag wedge pattern that came up and actually tried to break out of it. And some people got long on this candle and they saw the stock pull back in, but never got stopped out because of this support level ended up holding again, which was around 235. Okay. Then you see the stock goes and breaks up and out of this downtrend resistance line and then starts to just hold and hold and hold and consolidate. And then once the stock really broke above those highs, you see the volume kick in, super heavy, strong volume, and the move was on. I was able to catch this move. Okay, I sold a little bit in front of $3 just because I expected $3 to encounter some resistance, and it blew right through it. And I ended up getting flat up into this position. This area, I'm sorry, up in here around 350, but the stock just never ever slowed down. I mean, it was just a monster trade. So many people in chat caught this move and were able to capitalize on this trade, but I sold out of this way too early. And I'm kicking myself, but a winning trade is a winning trade, and I'll be happy with it. And the stock just continued chugging along higher throughout the day. One thing that someone pointed out, and this is now the second time that this has happened to me, and the second time that this same member has pointed this out to me, is this uptrending support line that the stock was holding throughout the day that enabled him to set a trailing stop loss, kind of just using this line on his trade, and he was able to catch basically this entire move by using that trailing stop, and it worked out really handsomely for him today with some really monster gains. And this is the second time that members has pointed this out to me, and I love it when members point out moves like this to me because they're things that I don't recognize and things that I can even learn from, and I love it. But you saw this uptrending resistance line where the stock never broke down below this line, and it just held on to it all day and just kept chugging higher, and it just kept him in the move. I always preach it takes some profits on the way up, but he did hold on to a little piece of his position that kept him in the move all day long. He ended up getting flat around, I think it was 550-ish when the stock was somewhere in here when it encountered some of this choppy action. I think is when he started getting flat, but it helped him hold through this whole move. It was just crazy. So monster day on CLSN. I'm going to go to MNKD because this is a swing trade alert that I called out today in chat. Oh, here, I'll show you. Okay, so here it is. I don't know if you can see, but this is 10:14 a.m. Swing long, MNKD at 239, stop loss 229. So I was risking very, very little on the trade. And I entered my position right here. Okay, this is where I got long MNKD in the morning at 10:14. And I'm going to show you why. First, I want to take you out to the daily chart to show you what it is that I saw. And it was a couple days ago when the stock put this engulfing green candle in, showing me that 200-day moving average is in fact support. As you can see, it tried has been trying to hold that area, okay, ever since spiking through it the first time. It's been battling, trying to hold support here. And finally, this green engulfing candle day is what told me, it just engulfed an entire week and a half's worth of trading in one move, that this area is support. The next day, it just kind of hangs in, pulls in, doesn't really do much, but shows you that it's still holding. But yesterday was really the key for me. Yesterday, when this stock gapped up and then sold all the way down to $2 and then just turned right around and just ran all the way off of that, that told me that that $2, which also was just above the 200 moving average, is now an area of support with an increase in volume that I can buy in front of. Okay, go back to the chart. With this such a strong move off of that low, it actually went to make a new high of the day. It didn't just bounce off the low. It made a new high. That's a very strong, powerful move in the stock. That got my attention, and I started looking further into the chart and doing some more analysis to see what do I think could happen here. And then I noticed this. $2.25 was key for me, okay? And it's because of this resistance that you can see on the chart right here, okay, at 225 on the 28th and the 29th, where the stock was not able to get above. Fast forward to yesterday, the stock gaps above it, but then very quickly sells off. So I don't even consider that a break through the resistance because it very quickly sold off below it. Once it broke above that resistance level, look where it held. It found support right there at 225. So once I saw this resistance broke into the upside, pulls in, holds support now, that resistance now becomes support. Previous highs are now support. I said we might have a trade set up here. And that's what caught my attention, okay, was that move right there. That's what I was looking for. Then I'll go back out to the daily, and you have this area of resistance right here across these highs, which is like 235. And that was also another key area for us. Let me delete all those other lines before I go back, make it easier for you to see, okay? Actually, I'll draw it back. Sorry. All right, so there's your highs, like I said, and then there's the support once it's broken. Right here again is when I got long. I got long right here, anticipating a breakthrough yesterday's high, okay? And now, if you don't know by now, I like to use previous day's highs as areas of resistance and look for them to become support once they are broken. And then I got long here, and that's when I sent out that alert that I showed you before, and I added to the position once I saw volume start to increase. Here's your volume increase, okay? As the stock broke the high of the day and broke through yesterday's high, I added to my position. That's a good place to add to your position when you buy in front of that breakout, anticipating the move, and it gave it to me. It shot straight up to like 270 and then pulled in, and look what it did. It held support. So yesterday's high, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to draw it that big. Yesterday's high now is acting as support. That was my confidence. That was my trigger right there. And you see how it holds support and then shoots right off of it. You don't want to see it pull back in and just kind of like drag its feet around here. You want to see it get down, touch, show support, and then push off of it and get away from it. That was my trigger that this stock's going way higher. And I set my target, my initial target was $3, and I started selling on the way up. I took my first profit here, and I took my last profit up here at 289, and I'm still holding 25% of my position, looking for a continuation swing above $3, because I do think on the daily chart that this stock still does get above $3. So I'm still holding on to 25% of my position, and I'm looking for a move for the stock to get up towards at least 350 is where I think we can see mankind really extend to. So I'm looking for a follow-through move. I sold 75% of my position, still holding 25%, and it was a really great trade for us. ANTH is a perfect example of the TTG triangle that I teach my students so much, and my members. I don't like to call them students, I like to call them members. Is a pattern that I really like to teach all of our members, and it's that initial morning break that initial break of the morning high, followed by support and then a downtrend resistance line, and I'll show it to you now. Here is your initial morning high, Okay, stock pulls in, and then you get the breakout on an increase in volume. Remember that this pattern needs that increase in volume on the break of the morning high, because in here you never got it. Okay, you never got that huge volume surge except for right here when the stock just started trading, so it wasn't enough time to give you the pattern yet. You need some time for the trade to develop, pull in. Once it puts in that initial high, you need to see that pull in and then the break. Okay, and here is that heavy volume break that I talk about. There's your heavy volume break, and the stock pulls in, and look what it does. It holds support. So that previous morning high is now acting as support. And then you see this downtrend starting to form across these highs. And this is the pattern, the TTG triangle pattern that I like to teach because it's a very high percentage pattern. And when the stock, you can either, two ways you can play it. You can either get long in front of this support level and use this as your stop loss, or you can buy it as it breaks out of this downtrend resistance line. And here on this move, on this break right here. On this move, on the break of this resistance line, you want to look to see an increase in volume, which we saw. When it happened in real time, I actually said I would have liked to have seen a little bit more volume increase, and it didn't go right away. It just sat here for like an hour, and it actually pulled in. This was a nasty pull, and we thought maybe the trade wasn't going to work out, but we were long and using this as our stop loss, so it was okay. And the trade ends up working out, and then as soon as you get to power hour, volume starts really rushing in, and the stock just takes off. And this is a TTG triangle pattern perfectly to a T, guys. That initial morning high, the break, the hold support, the downtrend resistance line, and then the breakout above that line, and you get that continuation move in the afternoon, and you get new highs. Okay, that's typically how this pattern works. Once you break out of that downtrend resistance line, there's two things you get. One, first, you get a move to retest the initial high. Okay, so you'll get a move that will retest this high. So once you break out of here, you should at least get up and test that high, which it did. If the stock really gets volume and momentum comes in, you get a new high. And that's how you play this trade. Okay, what I really liked about this when I said, okay, guys, we're going to hold this overnight, was after it broke above that initial high at 180, look how it pulled in and held support again, and then bounced right off it and made a new high. And we ended up holding this stock into the close. It closed at 190, and it was printing after market when I was making this video at 207. So we're already looking real nice on our aftermarket trade here on this ANTH. I'll take you out to the daily to show you what it is that I saw on the daily on why I liked the swing. Okay, you can see a couple of things. One, this area of resistance that the stock had finally gotten above right here. Okay, so here's your resistance that the stock was clean and clear above. And then you got now $2. So now that we're through that resistance area, okay, where's our next area of resistance? And I identify an area of resistance at $2 based on that support. And then you can see once the stock broke down, it then became resistance. And that was right where the stock was running right into. And I said, with this type of momentum and this kind of volume and the way the stock was trading into the close with this powerful move into the close on heavy volume, that I said we can look for a follow-through move and a look for the stock to get above $2, because if it gets above $2, I think we see a move to 3. And you've got the 200-day moving average sitting up here at 327. So I think we can see a move up to $3 if we do get above 2, and that's why we held on to the trade and took it overnight for a swing, and it was a real thing of beauty. Lastly, MTBC came out with news right before the close in power hour around 3:30, and this was more so of a momentum play than it was a tradable pattern. There really wasn't a pattern here. The stock just put out news and just exploded. But we were able to catch a move here underneath this 250 that we started buying a little bit under 250, and then you got this breakthrough 250, but why 250? And we went to the daily chart to identify some areas of potential resistance, and we spotted this, okay? These highs and this high was, we said, okay, well, maybe the stock is going to encounter some resistance around 250, because once the news came out, we weren't able to buy it in here. I mean, you know, if you bought it down in here, I mean, anyone that says they bought this stock right in here off the news, I think is lying, because you just don't have enough time for this to pop up on your scanner, pull up your account, and place the trade. So anyone that says they bought this down here, I think it's not realistic, okay? Once it came up in here and it was in the 230s, 225s, we started looking for, okay, do we think this stock can continue? And that's when we identified the 250 area as resistance. And it also helped. There was like 250,000 shares sitting on the offer at 250. So it made it very easy and clear for us to say 250 is a line in the sand. That's what we have to get through. And we were able to catch a trade through 250. But this is more so of a momentum trade than it was a pattern or a setup. But nonetheless, I want to point it out. I want to show it to you because it is something that we traded, and a lot of members were able to catch a trade in this. And we're getting follow through in this after market now with no real resistance in sight, guys. This is very minor resistance on this candle up here. That's 384. And then when you take it all the way back, I got to go all the way out to a weekly chart to find any bit of resistance here at $5, which was this high, which again, this is minor resistance. So $4 is really going to be your first potential resistance because of maybe this high and then these highs back here. But I don't see anything that would be considered major resistance that can really be in the way of this stock. So another one that we're going to watch real closely tomorrow. So congratulations again on a monster day today, guys. Study that TTG pattern, the TTG triangle pattern that I like to teach because it works out more often than not, and it's a very high percentage pattern with low risk and potential very high reward. So congratulations again, guys, and let's go Yankees. See you guys later.